Hey guys, it's me Charlie. Today I'm going to be doing my version of Cinnabon. It's going to have cinnamon and sugar, of course, but I'm going to be using these Grand Flake layers of biscuits. I really like these because they taste really good, plus you can play with the layers. So what we're going to need for this dessert, it's going to be cinnamon. I got some cinnamon here in the small bowl. Sugar. You'll need your favorite type of biscuit, which I'm using a flaky layer biscuit. And 4 tablespoons of butter, which right here it says, let's see if I got this in focus right, I think I do. 1, 2, 3, 4 tablespoons, that's half a stick of butter. You can use the salted butter, not the unsalted, because it gives a little bit more flavor to it. Get your pan ready so that way you can add your butter in there and keep it on low. And then we're going to go ahead and put these biscuits together, so I'll show you that next. Alright, so what I'm going to go ahead is open up my biscuits here. I love this part because this is the part that you get to open and then they explode on you when you smack them on the counter. So let me open this up. Sometimes they explode right when you're opening them, but I think that tends to happen when you had them out on the counter for a while, because it's not happening right now, as you can see. So let me give it a tap right on that line right there. Oop. There we go. Needed 2 hits. And it's about 10:30 tonight, so I'm sure my neighbors didn't appreciate that sound. Alright, so look at these nice layers. I love the way biscuits smell when they're raw. See, these are the ones with the layers in them. So I'm going to go ahead and spread these out. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix together the sugar and the cinnamon. And I'm using 6 tablespoons of sugar and 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. If you don't like cinnamon that much, or you just want to use a little less of it, maybe use 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. But I think 1 tablespoon gives it a very rich cinnamon taste to my stovetop Cinnabons. Alright, so you're going to coat these nicely. And what I recommend you to do is to put them onto a plate once you've done a good layer of it. And then you're going to want to do them again. Oops, this one's a little bit wet. Get a little cloth here. Alright. And then you're going to want to do it one more time. And the reason why is because during this process, when it's sitting there, it's actually absorbing and it's taking up all the sugar. But give it another coat so you can give it that delicious cinnamon coating with the sugar, so it'll caramelize. Now I've already got my butter melted on the stove, but I want to get these all done first. And then I'm going to lay them in there, and I'm going to slow cook them on one side and then turn them to the other side. I won't give you a time on that because it depends on how you keep the pilot on, or if you have electric stove. It varies, so I'm not sure. The way I found this recipe is many years ago, I think in 2005, a friend of mine and I, we went camping, and she had these biscuits. They were just a generic cheap biscuits that you get at the grocery store for like 99 cents each, or like a couple of them for $1. And she said, do you want me to make some dessert, some Cinnabons? And I'm like, really? And I don't really like Cinnabons that much, but when they're really fresh and yummy, or you make them yourself, or you buy them and they're just made, they're really delicious. I like that sugar coating that you put on there, which I'm not going to make on this recipe because this has got enough sugar on it. But she made them at the campfire on a cast iron pan that we had. And she put some butter, and she got it hot enough. And then she flattened out the biscuits, and I think she flattened them so flat that I'm like, I don't get how this is going to work. And then she coated them with sugar, just like we're doing here. And she put them on there, and she cooked them really fast. And she didn't eat any because she said she got sick of them, because she used to make them a lot for her kids. So that's how it looks. Looks really good, doesn't it? And then we have, of course, this little bit left. So I'm going to do it one more time. This time I'm going to put 4 in the bowl. I'm going to get these nice and coated. But yeah, so we had them at the campfire, and I ate most of them. And ever since then, I've liked the oven version or the stovetop version. So if you guys are hungry really late at night and you want something sweet, I'd recommend you make this. And the flake biscuit, it works okay, but sometimes it's a little doughy in the middle. What you could do is just pop them in the microwave and put them in there try them out for like 15 seconds, maybe even 10 seconds, depending on how high your settings are in your microwave. And that will cook from the center out. Alright, so now, I don't want to waste any of that sugar that I have here. I'm going to do this one more time, because I'm noticing that the second time around they're really mixing. You don't want to waste any of this sugar. You want to put it right on as it's cooking. That looks really good. Doesn't that look good? They're so dark. They look like little, actually they look like donuts. Let me show you that. Look how good that looks. Alright, so I got my butter melted. And we'll put these in. Look at that. They're nice and yummy. Let me give you a different angle here. That's them raw. That's how many you get out of the can. I like biscuits. Alright, so I got my 4 tablespoons of butter melted. Now you want to put this in while the butter is still kind of cool, because you want the heat to make these grow. I'm not sure how many I'm going to get in this pan. I'm going to shoot for all of them. Yay. And the one in the middle, of course, is going to cook it the fastest. There we go. Now, I'm going to flip them over while they're... Oops, let me get a spoon. Let me bring you guys over. You can see my flour. I'm going to flip them over while they're still wet with butter, because I want to make sure all that butter got absorbed on both sides, because once they start to cook, they can absorb all that butter and there's none left. Alright, so I'm going to let these cook for a tiny bit. Look how good that looks already. Oops, that one's over layered. You want to kind of spread these out a little bit, and they're going to rise in this pan. And you want to put it on a medium heat, and you want them to cook slowly, and you don't want to leave. You want to stay next to the stove, because these are going to start to grow. Because there's sugar in there, it's going to start to caramelize, and you don't want them to burn. But these are going to be super delicious. And then, of course, I have my leftover that I might consider putting right at the very end, and that way it'll be nice and yummy. So you raise up the temperature a tiny bit more to medium high. It was on like a low medium. Don't hear any bubbling, but doesn't that look good? Alright, so I'm placing the last one here, being very careful. Ooh, it's hot. And whoopsie! Fell on the floor. Be right back.